What's up, guys? This is Casey, and welcome back to the channel. So, we have to have a real conversation today. And what we have to talk about is we have to talk about the real odds of becoming a millionaire. When you look on YouTube, you see a lot of videos with people showing you about a lot of side hustles. You see a lot of videos of 20-year-olds, how I made my first million by the age I was 22, and how by the time I was 30, I had 15 businesses, and at the end of the day, in America is one of the best countries in the world to generate wealth. To, we're one of the best countries in the world to have opportunity, but we need to have a real discussion about what it really takes to become a millionaire, what the odds are, and who actually has that type of wealth right now. So in this video today, we're going to discuss exactly what it takes to be a millionaire. We're going to break down exactly who are millionaires and just kind of have a real conversation about it. So let's just kind of hop into this. I have a number of articles I want to discuss today. One of the articles being regarding the uh, one of the articles regarding your chances of becoming a millionaire. And one of the things I think we have to first break down is your chances based on your race, your age, and your education, because that's where we have to start from as a foundation. If we look down at this article here, which is on financialsamurai.com, you will see that your chances of becoming a millionaire by education do go up based on your education level. But you also notice that there is a disparity amongst race. Now, this is not going to be a race meeting, if you will, a video, but I want to bring this up so that we can just highlight the categories and understand that there is a disparity. Now, while those are, we can go into those later into the video, but just understand that as you go up with the diploma, the high school degrees, and so forth, you see here on the left column that whites have a higher chance of attaining it. You see the chance that Asians have a higher chance. And then over to the right-hand side on the column, you have Hispanics and blacks. And this right off the bat tells you that there are some disparities just amongst race in itself. Now, that could be because it is because of more opportunities of education. It could be more financial literacy. It could be a little bit of both. It could also be a factor of having connections or having a families that come from wealth or backgrounds of financial success that then help catapult it more. Every situation is different, but we see here that there are some disparities. One of the things I want to also talk about is I want to break down the average income by age. And the reason we're having this conversation is because, again, we're going through every sequence of what it takes to become a millionaire and what your odds are based on where you are in your particular situation. So if you see here, based on your age, this is what the average income is, right? If you're an employee, which a lot of us are, you have a 9 to 5 job or whatever, mid shift, late shift, you make a certain amount of money, and generally that corresponds with what your age is. So you'll see here that if you're in your teens, 16, 19, you're still trying to figure out if you have arms or legs or feet. You know, I actually think this is a pretty high for 16, 19-year-olds, to be honest, but they're saying that this is, First Republic is saying this is what the average income is. So obviously, the more money you make, the more opportunity you have to invest and to save and to purchase real estate and stocks and start businesses and all the other good stuff. So where you are from an age gap does also determine your likelihood of reaching financial success and becoming a millionaire. Now, why am I going through this? We're going through this in a certain progression for a reason. So I'm getting to the real meat and potatoes, but I'm setting you guys up for staging the foundation before we really start hammering into exactly, what your odds are and why it's so difficult and challenging. So you see down below, we also go into the occupation, right? Your occupation is very important. Now we know that if you are obviously older, you have more education, more than likely, you have more job experience, and depending on the field that you go in, here's the weekly income. Management, profession related, $1,400 a week. Service, sales industries. We know sales is one of the highest paying professions. Depending on the kind of sales job that you're in, traditional sales, you can make a significant amount of money. Natural resources, construction and maintenance. There's money to be made for sure. But if you notice, the higher salaries are in the management professional related, which is pretty much, corporate, workplace type environments. I would say corporate workplace, tech, engineering, lawyers, doctors, that kind of things. Those are the high or paying jobs. Any kind of specialty fields is where you really are noticing the high paid incomes. Education level. Let's take a look at it. So you see high school diploma, you know, it shows you it's near the bottom. You have some degree. Now this is changing quite a bit. I do not want you guys to get the impression that if you have a high school diploma that you can't make a lot of money. That is could not be further from the truth. I know quite a few people who have just high school diplomas who are engineers, who are business owners, who have side hustles, who make tons and tons and tons of money. These diploma type, this type of demographic here, this is for people who work traditional corporate 9 to 5 jobs, so where jobs require you to have a degree before they'll even interview. But this is, the job requirements the companies are looking at are changing drastically. A lot of them do not require college degrees per se, but they are going to require experience, job experience. So don't take this necessarily for face value, but they're, if you, in the traditional sense, they're saying that there can be some increase as you go up. And you would expect that, right? I mean, if you have a master's degree, you didn't go there to get a master's degree and go through all that, 6 years of school just to be paid to someone else who doesn't have it. You're going there to make money. You're going there to have more experience. So, there is an increase in that. And then, the state that you're in also matters. So different states, depending on where you are with the big city, pays more. So the missus and I, we actually moved from Washington, D.C. So we're not originally from East Coast, but we lived there for over a decade. And it's a great district, great people, ultra intelligent people, super smart. The food is amazing, but it's also one of the most expensive places to live in the country. I mean, it is extremely expensive. If you make $130,000 in Washington D.C., you are middle class. The condos there before we even moved, I was looking at the condo, and this was like 8 years ago, was $370,000. So this is pre-pandemic. This is pre when everything hit the fan. This is years and years before, $350,000. And we're not talking about some nice high-end, a condo overlooking the city in a high rise. We're talking about like a regular, 4-level type, almost looks like an apartment type condo that's 35, 40 years old. It's not bad. It's not horrible, but it's not anything new or updated or renovated. It's just a regular condo. 350,000. Now it's significantly more. So depending on where you are, does affect the amount of income that you make, but it also affects your cost of living. Now we all know cost of living is a big, big, big factor. One of the things you guys have to remember when it comes to making money is it's not what you make, it's what you keep. There are a lot of people who make high amounts of money per month for engineering jobs, construction, multiple business, side hustles, whatever it is that they do, sell cupcakes. And they're like, dude, I can't keep any money. I don't know when money's coming in. And we're going to go into that further and discuss exactly how to get that stuff under wraps. But again, laying the foundation, showing you guys what the likelihood is of you becoming a millionaire and making significant amounts of money based on your demographics, because that does play a factor. And if you take a look here, you'll notice that bottom 10 bottom 10 states, not surprised. Look at it: Mississippi, Arkansas, Mexico, Louisiana. They're not known as major metropolitan areas. You don't have like a New York and LA or Washington, D.C. or Chicago or Dallas. They're just more rural type states, which would explain why the salaries aren't there, because unless you're in agriculture or you have a business for whatever reason, whatever you're running there, you're not going to get paid high salaries. Okay, so let's kind of get to more of the meat and potatoes. Average salary. Okay, age. Here's what you're going to average person brings home on a weekly basis. All right. Now, if you're under 35 years old, this excuse me. It says, what am I saying? This is not salary. Excuse me. This is the next slide. This has to do with what your average savings is. Now, this is super important. And the reason this is important is because people say, hey, I want to be a millionaire. They look on YouTube and they say, oh yeah, I made 25, $30 million by the time I was 22. And here's how I did it. Here's the top 10 hustles. I'm like, okay, great. That all looks good. You have the pretty thumbnails. You have the pretty clicks. They have the pretty transitions and effects in the video, and it looks great. Like, oh, okay, so you teach me how to make money. But when you actually break down the real fundamentals of what it means to make money and where you actually are on track to make it, you got to be real with yourself, because being real with yourself is the first foundation of actually being able to really truly give yourself a chance to make a lot of money. Now, we all know that making money is not the end all be all. There are far, far more things that are important. If you guys watch my last video, you know that I've mentioned in my opinion, there's nothing more important than your health and your relationship with God, which I didn't mention, but it's very high up there. And then also, obviously your relationship with your families and your friends, that matters. And the reason is because, at the end of the day, we are social creatures. We are people who come from tribes. And I'm talking about of all nationalities and backgrounds. If you're black, you're African American in America, well, we came from tribes. If you're a white European, if you go back to Vikings or Europeans, you go back to Germans or Irish, they had settlements. And so we are a tribal people. We care about communities. We care about being part of communities and adding value to people in general. And so those things are what really truly matters, having a support system and things like that. But then when you get beyond that, why do you want the money? Well, you want the money so that you can take care of your family and your friends, so that you can more experience things, so that you can also help others, because that's a major factor of making money. One of the things that people leave out when you watch all these videos on YouTube and they're selling you packages, or join my seminar, or buy my stock trading, blah 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 blah. None of them actually that I've seen, some do, but not a lot, talk about the importance of giving back. And I'm not talking about some fake facade stuff. I'm talking about actually truly giving back. Scientists have done studies and they have shown that irrespective of how much money you make, whether you make $75,000 or you make $100 million in your life, or billions of dollars, you're Elon Musk, they've shown studies to show that our dopamine and our happiness levels go up significantly the more we help people. That's why I notice a lot of the times when people are in need of help and they're trying to ask for assistance, when people actually go out and help, the people who actually provide assistance, whether it's giving a friend a ride to work, or somebody in need when the car's breaking down on the side of the road, or somebody needs a few dollars for food or whatever, it gives that person who's giving a sincere sense of value and worth. And at the end of the day, that's what we all really want, in addition to obviously becoming the best people that we can be and become the greatest people that we can be. And money certainly helps with that. But I digress. Looking at your age, you see what your average savings is. So why is this so important? Well, because I go back to, it's not what you make, it's what you save. And then it becomes, it's not what you save, but it's what you invest. And so this is what people naturally have in their savings. So if you're 45 years old, okay, great. You've gone through 23, 24, 25 years, your middle age. You have $50,000 in your savings, which is nothing to sneeze at, by the way. But that's a hell of a lot far off from 990, if 990 that or $950,000. If I can do my math today, you're way off, right? And you only got probably another 15, 20 years of living, and you're nowhere near that. And as you see, as you go younger, it's even less and less and less. So what does this tell us? This tells us that savings is not the way. People do not generate wealth with savings. You generate wealth with investing. You generate wealth with being financially responsible. You generate wealth with trying to purchase real estate, with trying to start businesses. And then also, I think with following your passions. Some people will say, don't follow your passions. And I think that you have to be very strategic with it. You need to follow your passion, but also do things that make money. And in order to do that, you have to be able to provide a service and a value to people. At the end of the day, when it comes to starting any kind of businesses specifically, not investing, what are you really doing? You are providing a value and a service that people see a value and they're willing to pay you for that. Another way of obviously making money is through investing. And, you don't have to have millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest. We're going to talk about just in another, few minutes, why getting early with investing is so important, and why, and I'm not a big fan of this word, but we're going to talk about this here. I have to say it, is generational wealth. Uh, we're going to talk about why, slow and steady wins the race. Everyone nowadays wants to make the fast money. Who the hell doesn't want to make fast money? Who wouldn't want to win the lottery tomorrow? Of course we want to win the lottery tomorrow. Of course we want to do a startup business, a side hustle, a drop ship, this and that tomorrow. And then in a matter of a few months, we're bringing in $50,000 a month. Everybody wants to do that. But the reality is that that's not what most people do. Irrespective of what YouTube has you thinking, that's not reality. That doesn't mean that you can't do it. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to do it. But if you're not able to do it, or that if you find that it's more challenging than what it is, there's also more traditional and more reliable and more realistic ways to at least attempt to invest on the side while you're trying to get the faster money, legally, of course, because that's what's really important. Okay, if we go over to this here, I want to show you guys a breakdown on Motley Fool of if you just go the slow and steady route, how much $100 will turn into $100,000. And the reason that I'm showing you this is because a lot of people who have wealth, who are rich, they're not first time millionaires. Of course, America has some of the, I think that we have the most first time millionaires, first generational millionaires, I think, than any country in the world. And I think second is like London or something like that. So we have a lot. But you will find that even more families, they have generational wealth. Their great grandfather started a company, and then that got passed down to their father, and then his father, this person's first generational person, their father had money, then they got started into the business. Or the great grandfather had oil or did wheats or grains or textiles or what have you, right? And then they set up trust fund accounts, and then or then maybe they took money and they gave them royalty fees, or they gave them whatever it is, but it got developed over a period of generations. And what I think is important is that people nowadays are so focused on wanting to get the quick dollar, the quick dollar, the quick dollar. And I'm not saying don't get that. Definitely go do it. But what are you doing to build wealth for your family? What are you doing to build wealth for your children? You know, even if you're 23 years old, let's say you're 22, right? You're young, you start your business, you still got your swagoo and all that other stuff, or you think you're young and sexy, and you are, whatever, whether you're a man or a woman. Okay, great. I'm going to go live my life. I'm going to explore. I'm young. I'm free. I'm healthy. Phenomenal. But it doesn't hurt to throw $100 into an ETF. It doesn't hurt to just put $50 into a Betterment account or into a QQQ or SPY or VU or something like that. And just throw it in there. Just forget about it. Don't even look at it. Just act like it ain't even there, right? One of the things I want to start talking about in my other videos is why it's so important to pay yourself first. When I worked in retail, years back, I had such a hard time saving money. I mean, I struggled with it bad, and I think I was making like $13 an hour, 13.50 an hour, something like that. And I remember every 2 weeks, I got paid. I was like, damn, my money's gone. My cell phone bill, I get tons of overdraft fees. Overdraft fees is the worst. They've gotten better, but just really bad. My rent was due. Just whatever. The food's expensive. It's gotten more expensive now. Whatever, gas in my car, brakes, all that good stuff. And I was like, damn, I never have any money left over. How can I save money if I don't ever have any money left over, right? And a lot of people are in that situation. And then someone told me one day, they said, dude, why don't you pay yourself first? And I was like, well, yeah, I can try to pay myself first, but then I'm just going to end up spending it. It's like, yeah, no. That's not, pay yourself first in a way to where you take some money and you transfer it into an account that you forget about. And I was like, what? He's like, dude, you do that, it's going to change your life. And I'm going to tell you something. It did. That is one of the number one ways you guys could just start to save money. And I don't care how bad you are. You cannot give a damn about anything that related to money, about you're just horrible with it. It just flows through you, right? Like a hole in the wall, money just flowing out, water flowing out. If you set up a second account of, like, say, let's say it's a Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, your credit union, whatever it is, right? Set up a second account, go to your employer, go to your company, whatever it is, it doesn't matter, and set up that direct deposit transfer and transfer whatever percentage or number you comfortable with that you just won't even care about. If it's $50, every 2 weeks, I transfer $50 into that account. I don't even see it. And what that does is that every 2 weeks, when you get paid again, you get your paycheck, right, or your direct deposit, whichever one, and it'll be $50 less than what you normally get paid. But you're not going to know. You're not even going to think about it. You just think you got your regular paycheck. And every 2 weeks, that money's getting transferred into an account that you have completely forgotten about. And you can do it with $100, $200, $300. And then the way that you do to protect yourself is you don't have a credit card, a debit card to the account. You can't use a debit card. You don't have a link to your online profile. You don't even see it. You just flat out forget about it. And I cannot tell y'all how fast you will start to save money. Bills will still get paid, even if you think you don't have enough money at the end of the 2 weeks. You rob Peter to pay Paul. Or I don't care if you just like, dude, I'm making like $6, $7, $8,000 a month and money's flowing out. Even better. Take $1,000, take $500, transfer it every 2 weeks. And next thing you know, in 3, 4 months, you're like, damn, I got $6,000 in that account. I forgot all about that. That's crazy. I'm telling y'all, it's a game changer, game changer, game changer. If you take nothing else out of this video, you do that, life changing. Leave a comment below, and it's just a game changer. So I digress. $100,000 game for $1. Okay, so turn $100,000 and $100,000. Okay, if you take a look at the screen here, they show you nothing fancy. This ain't about following with stocks or trying to, time the bottom or trying to do anything with, trying to outsmart the system, because you can't really outsmart the SPY, the S&P, and the stock market. You can with some people, but even professionals don't do it. Listen, take $100. You don't know nothing about nothing, and you take that $100 and you put that into the S&P. For y'all that don't know, which I'm sure most of you do, the S&P it's an index that basically follows the top 500 companies, and it's a general indicator of the overall health of the market. Not a lot of games can play with the S&P because it's the overall health of the market. So it stocks from all industries, and it just pretty much follows the whole health of the whole stock market. 10%. If you get 10% over 20 years, you'll see what that generates: $77,000. That's $100 a month. And I would probably guesstimate that 80 to 90% of people, even if you are making, depending on your expenses, $35,000, $40,000. If you're on the low end of the income, you can do $100 a month. If somebody took $100 from your paycheck and was like, "You just gonna make it work," just gonna do it. Money's tight. We got to cut $100 out of your paycheck. Most of y'all are gonna make it work. Right. And that's just if you're at the bottom of the bottom. We're never talking about making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, $120,000. You could put $500. We're just talking about $100. Bottom. $77,000 in 20 years. Okay, so think about that. And then if you add $200, it adds more and more and more. This is what we talk about when you're talking about wealth. By the time you put that money, because you're gonna get old anyway, right? Ain't nobody trying to die, heaven forbid, right? At least not when our time is up. So not before our time is up. You're gonna get old anyway. Why not put the money away, right? And you don't even have to try. You don't even have to think about it. It just goes through automatically. You're gonna keep working anyway, whether it's working, business, investments, or whatever. Just put it away. $77,000. Imagine if you were 20-some years old and you put $100 in there. You just forgot about it. Didn't even try to change anything else. But you're gonna hit 40 by the time you know it. Damn, we got $77,000 in the account. I didn't even realize it. And imagine you putting $200, $300, $400, $500 into the account, $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week. You start side hustles with cutting grass or YouTube channels or whatever it is that you want to do, whatever your passion is, graphics design, making shoes, art, painting, whatever. And you put even more money into it. I mean, the amount of growth and wealth building is incredible, not only for your protection and your health and your generational wealth, but for your family. If you don't have children or you didn't want children, for your brothers, your sisters, for your friends, for your uncles, your cousins, whoever it is that's really close to you. This is why it's so important, right? Like, this is how people take money, and this is how they're able to build it in a way to where they don't go broke again. Their family, if spending it right, doesn't go broke again, because as they get up in age, they then start to take this money, then they start to structure it in a way to where they set up trust accounts for the friends or their stepdaughter, stepson, or whoever it is that that matters to you. And maybe you say, okay, you know what? Hey, son, I'm 46 years old now. I started doing this at 20-some years old, 29, saw Casey's video, game changer. Hey, it changed your life. Just thumbs it up, leave a comment. That's all we ask for. Well, we don't want much over here. And son, I'm 46 years old, but listen, you're 17 years old. And once you go to college, I got a trust account. You pay for it, even if you don't pass. Even if you drop out, just the attempt of it. We put $100,000 into the trust that says that it goes into your name by the time you're 21 and 22, right? And I did that for you because I was building up the money. And actually, I got $280,000 in there, but I'm gonna give you 100. And I'm gonna give 20, 30,000 to charity, 50,000 to whoever. That's what people do. And then they leave the rest of the money in there just to continue to accumulate, continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. And the next thing you know, you're sitting on $300,000, $400,000. You see what I'm saying? So the point is, it's not about how much money you make. Of course, the more money you make, the more you can invest. The more, of course, obviously, the more money you're making. But most people are horrible with money, and I don't say that in a negative way or in a holier than, not even the close, because I have much issues too. Trust me, we all got our problems, we all got our vices and stuff. But just doing the basics, right? Not trying to be on step 10 when you don't have the foundation of step 1 and step 2 will be life changing. That's what they're not telling you guys on these videos. They're not telling you the foundation that was laid because it's not sexy, right? It doesn't get you the a million views, to tell somebody to start off small and to build and work your way up. Like, this is a snowball. Like, this is how they do it, slowly, slowly. And keep in mind, we haven't even started talking about businesses yet. We haven't even started talking about side hustles or self-employment. We're just talking about working a 9 to 5 job, being a regular degular, which is nothing wrong with that. You will get money, and you will build wealth for yourself and for your family. Next tab. This goes into the annual schedule, right? So we break down, you start off with nothing, 20 years annually, right? Additional contribution, $500 each month. Boom, there you go. You put $500 into the S&P, 8% return. And keep in mind, there's going to be some years that it's going to be 15, 16, 20%, right? $500 a month. And for some of you high net worth people who can, afford it, 6, 80, 100,000, whatever you make, look at that. In 20 years, you have almost $300,000. $500 a month for 20 years. Let's say you kick it up. Again, I'm just throwing out some numbers here, right? Like, the point is to put this money away and forget about it. Pay yourself first. Don't rely on yourself to get paid and then transferred. Get it out of your account before you even look at it. That money's gone before you even log into your banking account and see how much you got paid on Monday or Friday. It's gone. Gone, invested. You never even saw it to even miss it. That's how you invest. And you got it on autopilot. It requires no work, requires no effort, and you got to look at it, you can forget about it, go about your life. And you're building wealth and don't even know it, don't even feel like it. That's how you do it. Okay, look at that. Principal, balance, interest, imbalance, in principle. I mean, it's just stacking and stacking and stacking and stacking. Now, a lot of y'all are like, man, I don't want to wait 20 years. And I'm like, I get it. Nobody wants to wait 20 years. But you're going to get old anyway. Why not put the money in to protect yourself and your family? And then also do your hustles to get you faster. Start your businesses, start your passions. Whatever it is that you want to do, your online business, right? But get the foundation going. This is what a lot of people, I'm going back over to this tab, right? This is what a lot of people are not understanding when it comes to money. Everybody sees the YouTube channels talking about, oh, how I made $3 million in 2 years. I'm 19 and I got 400. Like, okay, do whatever. If you go back, right? They give you all the picturesque. If you go back and you look at those people and you actually get figured out like what their history and their family background was, I promise you, 75, 80% of them came from families who had money, who were at least well-to-do, who had like the families were doctors or lawyers, or they were in engineering. Like, they came from solid foundations. I'm not saying that people don't get it from the mud, because there are a lot of people that do, but your odds of getting it from the mud are significantly lower if you don't have at least a family foundation or history or being set up or have the financial education at a minimum, right? And that's what this channel is, like, giving you the game. By the way, people, I'm not charging you a seminar, I'm not doing one-on-ones, I'm giving you the game, right? And all you got to do is watch the video, right? So you can't say, well, there's nobody online Nobody can help me. Nobody's giving me information. Nobody's, I don't have no. Dude, if you found this video giving you the game. Now, if you choose Monday or next week or the week after, right, to not go to your employer and not go and set up the direct deposit into a second account that you can set up for free, right, and hide the account. If you choose to not do that, you can't blame anybody. You can't say nobody taught me because it's right here, right? This is how you take these numbers and you move them up. And this is how even over here, right? Like this is again, this is not just in general, irrespective of this. This is how you take these numbers and move them up too, right? But a lot of these numbers, they probably already have this information. They probably already know it, and then some of them don't, right? But anyone can do this, right? It's not a necessarily demographics thing. It's an education thing. Anyone can do this, and everyone should do this. Again, and we're just talking foundational stuff here, right? So you want to get that going. I want to show you guys some other stuff here, right? Let's get to some more meat and potatoes. And if you guys have gotten this far with me, man, listen, I can't thank y'all enough. I already assumed if you gotten this far in the video, you've liked and thumbs up, so I ain't got to continue to ask again, though I probably will. I want to talk about the business side, right? So, you look on YouTube and everybody starts talking about start a business, start a business. Well, I started a business when I was 12. I started a business when I was 5. I mean, listen, businesses, it sounds good. Yeah, I'm a businessman. I get it. Like, yeah, you want to be able to work for yourself. But the reality is a couple of things. One, starting businesses are hard. Okay. And that's such a generic thing. What do you mean start a business? You make headphones? What do? You cut grass? What are you? You're a real estate investor. You got a real estate, you got your own, investment firm. Like what do you do? You sell dog food, you make handcrafted vegan cupcakes. What's your business, right? Like starting a business is hard, even when you have something that you're passionate about, because you have to, most of the time, you have to have the resources depending on what type of business you're starting, right? You have to have business acumen. So you need to understand your market. You need to understand the viability and the scalability of your market. You need to understand your clientele. You need to understand what value you're providing, right? You need to understand your growth metrics. You need to understand your competition, right? What are you bringing unique to the market? You need to understand marketing, obviously, right? And then you have to also understand persistence and consistency and adaptability. You have to understand to be able to constantly, just drive. You have to drive a business from nothing. Like you have to take an idea, right, sitting at your table, your house, kitchen, couch, wherever. You have to drive this idea. And you have to do that every single day. And most of the people are working 9 to 5 jobs. So you're going to work a 9 to 5 job and then you have to start a business. I'm not saying you can't do it, but we have to talk about the probability of running not only a business, but a successful business. Now, the positive thing is that America rewards people that start businesses. And this is where living in this country is the best country on planet Earth. And it is not even close to being close. America's number one when it comes to creating businesses and rewarding businesses. That's what this country was founded on. And I'm talking about irrespective of everything else that, stuff we got to deal with. Odds of succeeding. 70%, if I can get my mouse here, all right, 7% of all new businesses survive for the first 2 years. Beyond that, chances of success fall to about 50% after 5 years. Listen, if you have been running a business consistently without slack-a-dacking for 5 years, there's a good chance you're going to be profitable. There's a good chance at this point you can pay your bills, you can quit your job, or whatever it is, or keep working, whatever it is you want to do. But if you've run a business for 5 years, there's a good chance that you've already done this. And take a look at this here. You might expect, make through the volatility early years can dramatically improve your chances of success. Around 33% of businesses survive for 10 years and 26 survive for 14 or more years. Now keep in mind, they are talking about all businesses. We're talking about businesses that start off with tons of capital, who already have the connections, or businesses that just start off one self-employed and go, hey, I want to go make some cupcakes, or I want to go, be a cook or a chef for myself, or I want to go open a food truck, whatever it is, online business. This is the percentages and the odds of that. Okay. And then we already know about why they fail, why businesses fail: finance and management, planning, marketing. And another thing I would just say is just not understanding your business. Like, why are you doing it, right? So if you start a business and you don't have a long you don't have a long-term internal drive to run it, to actually do it, you probably aren't going to continue it. And I think that's where a lot of people fail, is that they lack the consistency to do something and the follow through. That's where most people fall off. Even with YouTube, right? If you start off a YouTube channel in which everyone and their mother is doing, and then some of the dogs and the cats, right? Most people quit within a matter of a few months, definitely within the first year, because it's too hard. The grind is too much. Unless you're working with some kind of marketing agency, or you're paying for views or subscriptions or something like that, and you just, you're doing it straight up, trying to learn the game, trying to understand how to keep your engagement, and just providing content of value and entertainment. Well, like, most people just quit because it's like just too much work. I'm getting paid pennies for CPC clicks. It's not worth it. Well, because you're not consistent enough, right? And you're not adapting to the market and the conditions and the environment. Same thing goes for any business. These are things you have to learn, and quite honestly, everybody's just not cut out for it, and that's okay. But if you are cut out for it, you need to be able to actually put some work in. Like, get up off your butt, put some work in, right? It's important. I want to talk to you guys about this: the different quadrants of making money. Okay, so the Robert Kiyosaki, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard. He's like a real estate investor. Yeah, yeah, yada. Some people love him. Some people don't. Some people think he gives good advice. Some people think he's very generic. Whatever. But at a bare minimum, one of the things that I think he's spot on the money about, and I don't necessarily endorse him if left or right, up or down, but I do think he has some very valuable content. And the only reason I even bring him up is just because I want to discuss these quadrants. You got to understand that no matter who you are, whether you're Warren Buffett, whether you're Elon Musk, no matter what you are, an investor, an inventor, whatever, right? High net worth CEO, everybody, YouTuber, everybody makes money in one of these categories. One, you're an employee, right? Working 9 to 5, night job, remote, doesn't matter. You're an employee. A company cuts you a check. Now, unless you are in the high specialty positions, right? And again, we're only purely talking about people who are like, okay, yeah, I really want to go get this X amount of dollars to go to become a millionaire, right? Because everyone has millionaire on their mind. Well, this is the hardest way, and almost the impossible way of getting millions of dollars. Most millionaires, and I would say maybe, and I'm being overly generic here, I don't have any facts to back this up yet, but I'm sure I can look it up and be pretty close just from all the research that I do. Most millionaires, I would say 98% are not employees. They just aren't, right? Because a lot of people who have those type of net liquid assets, or just assets in general, they are investors. They're self-employed. They have businesses. They generate them revenue. They're not trading their time for money, right? Not only that, but you get no tax incentives. You get no tax benefits, right? They take the money from you as an employee out of taxes right off the top, gone, right? Whereas if you're self-employed, whereas if you have a business, the government says, listen, I'll tell you what we're going to do for you, because you're trying to provide provide a value and a service. We are not going to take taxes from you off the top. You made $100 this week, keep it. You made $200, $3,000, whatever you made this week, keep it. For the whole year, keep it. Really, Mr. Tax Man? Yep, keep it. As a matter of fact, I tell you what I'm gonna do for you too. Because you work and you're trying to provide value, to customers and to our economy, and make the economy strong, and you're providing the service. I tell you what we're gonna do. You work out of your house, right? Yeah, yeah, and I gotta pay you $100 for that. I tell you what, go ahead and pay for that. Really? Yeah. You got the car, right? Yeah. You got it in the business name? Yep. How much is your car? No, $500. Go ahead and pay for that too. Really? Yep. Okay. How about those other expenses? Go ahead and pay for it. And then I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'll tax you just on whatever's left over. Really? Yeah, whatever's left over. So if you made $100,000 in a year, tell you what I'm gonna do. You spend $40,000 on business expenses. How about I just tax you on the 60? How's that sound? Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. Cool. If you are an employee, government don't care about that. You can tax on the 100, and then you got to pay all that stuff, your car note and everything else, out of the 60. That's the difference, right? You got to pay everything out of the 60 as an employee. But as a self-employed or business, you pay everything out of the 100. Huge difference, game changer. Business owner, self-employed, similar but not quite. Self-employed is obviously self-explanatory. You work for yourself. Business, side hustle, online, you cut grass, whatever you do. You help people rearrange the house, you decorate it, whatever. You sell bottled water on the corner, you got a food stand. You're self-employed, but you still get the benefits of a business owner for the most part, depending on your corporate structure, but that's for another video. Right? Now, you start getting to the business owner, you start getting into people work for you. People work in unison for the company vision, right? And then at this point, you get additional tax incentives. Now, of course, you still have to pay some, employment taxes and things like that, but you get additional benefits. And then, of course, the this is one of these to where the employees can also take advantage of it, but it's looked at more as big time whales, big time investment firms, big people who already got money and old money, big investors. I'm an investor. Yeah, well, you know what? Last time I checked, you can make $35,000. Go online tomorrow. Knocked over my phone. Go online tomorrow, open up an E-Trade account, and you are an investor, right? So this is where anyone can make money and build wealth, is being an investor. And this is what we talked about earlier into the video. It's super important you do this. Now we're going to have more videos to talk about different types of, get more in depth into the different types of investing. But these are the 4 quadrants, people. This is it. All right. So when you think about the channels that you watch on YouTube and the videos, and they talk about how I did this, how I did this, how I did this, they're an investor. Right? And most of them are in self-employed and business owner. But you know what you don't hear? You don't hear a single one talking about being an employee. Now, let me be clear about something. There's zero wrong with working a job. It's honest, and we need to recalibrate how we feel about working honest jobs, how society tells us we should feel. A lot of the things, and I don't want to get too far off here, but I feel like it's very important to say this. If you guys have gotten this far, then I think I'm communicating well to you. Our society is so focused on money that we lose track of the other things that matter, but we also attach our values as people to that. Like, social media has us feeling like that if we just work a regular job, we work a job, we do things that show that we're real valuable people. We have good families, we're honest, we pay our taxes, we treat each other as our neighbors fair, we take care of our wives, take care of our husbands, take care of our children. We take our vacations every now and then, and we stand up for what's right. That's not good enough. That we need to go be chasing yachts, and we need to go chase women in foreign countries, and we need to go buy Louis and Gucci's and Pradas and all these things and our Mercedes, and because this is how we've made it. And it's like, well, have you really though? I mean, last time I checked, having all these things doesn't make you happy, and the majority of the time, your excitement is just because you got a chance to experience it, and then immediately goes away. And then you're stuck in debt, and then you're stuck in remorse or resentment because you bought something you couldn't afford. We're gonna get into that on another video. But for people who are trying to chase additional resources, have additional extra financial freedom, that's good. But make no bones about it, working a job for 20, 25 years is an extremely admirable and respectable thing. And it certainly was that way back in the 60s and 70s. And then with the advent of technology and media and television and watching celebrities living these high style style lifestyles, people started feeling inadequate. And now that media has sped up, and now we've gone from Facebook, then we went to Instagram, and then we went to into the now we've gone all these other what I'm forgetting some, but we got TikTok, right? Our attention spans are getting shorter. We're getting those dopamine hits, and we're feeling more and more and more inadequate, more and more not good enough. We're too fat, we're too thin, we're too skinny. We have a BMW, but it's not a 6 Series. We got a 6 Series, but it's not an M Series. We got an M Series, but it's not the new X65. We have a Honda Accord, but it's not the nicest Honda Accord. Well, I have a Honda, but it's not a Lexus. It's just everybody's chasing these external, validations of acceptance is just making you feel hollow. What matters is your health. What matters is your relationships. What matters is, how you treat people, and what matters are your experiences. What matters, are you living your truth? Uh, and so just understand, it doesn't mean that just because you're not one of these things, these top three things, that working on being an employee is not sufficient, because that could not be further from the truth. The hustle culture, if you guys have not already, go back and watch my last video, because I talk about that. The hustle culture and the prosperity culture, they running games, y'all. They running games. I would say 75% of them ain't got it. They faking it so people can follow them, so that people can go out and then give them the money so that they then can get it. I ain't going to name no names, but that's the game of the YouTube thing. So just ignore it. Now, for those of you that say, hey, man, you know what? I just want to do YouTube. I just want to do the whole YouTube thing and blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I'm not going to get too in depth with this. I wanted to go more in depth to it, but I felt like the video's kind of already touched on what I want to touch on. But this is just breaking down, how much money you will make based on daily views. 36,000 views a day. This is how much money you have to make. Now, you guys already know YouTube is a self-employed business. Well, technically, it could also be you could be a business owner because you are with employees, but most channels are self-employed. And take a look. You got to get this. And the thing with this isn't consistent. But what is it? It's a side revenue. It's a side hustle. It's something that you can grow and build and develop a platform. But it's hard. It's extremely hard. It's extremely tedious. It's extremely competitive. It's only getting even more competitive, especially post-pandemic. And it's not consistent. It's not reliable. So it's a great platform to get notoriety. It's not the best platform for a business model, because you have to get this consistently. But it's an option. And I'm just showing you guys what you have to do if you want to be a YouTuber in order to get that kind of money. And then this is just kind of breaking down the channels, right? This is breaking down the channels. A lot of channels, big subscribers on it. Most channels got little subscribers, but a lot of channels got big subscribers. But if you guys are trying to do the YouTube game, it's out there, it's there. But again, it's like any other business. It's all about the consistency. And then I want to leave you guys with this. And if you have gotten to the end of this, I can't thank you enough. Clearly, y'all's attention span is greater than mine. So I don't know how y'all did it, but thank you. Because I think I tend to bore most people. So, I want to, again, another video, but I want to touch on why. If you notice, I'm going to bring everything back for 360. This correlates to this. I'm going to say that again. This correlates to this. Why is that? Well, this talks about school, but in addition to school, there's an underlying education and an underlying, I think, work to where people don't feel the need as much to look rich instead of being rich. If you guys can, I referenced this book in my last video, The Millionaire Next Door. Most millionaires do not drive fancy cars. You have probably driven past more millionaires in a Honda Accord or a Hyundai Genesis or Ford F-350 or 150 than you have Mercedes, BMW, Lexuses, and Maseratis. And I mean that. And this is the craziest part. This is the craziest part about the psychology of money, is because the people that really have it don't look like they have it. And the people that don't have it look like they have it. Elon Musk, he drives a Tesla, right? He's a billionaire. The dude could buy the entire Lexus and Mercedes and Mazda. He didn't have to buy the cars. He could just call them and say, hey, I'm Elon. And Mr. Musk, we're overnight you a Lamborghini tomorrow. Don't worry about it, on the house. The man can have any car he wants to have for free. He drives a Tesla. Now, granted, it's because he owns the company, okay? But the point is that how many Teslas do you see on the road? You see a lot of, 20, 30 a day, right? A lot of them look like they got money, right? It's a status car. For Elon, it's not necessarily a status car, but everything's relative. But he could drive anything. He probably drives a 3 model or X model or something like that. A lot of people are driving BMWs, Mercedes, Lexuses. They look rich. They have expensive clothes. They have the Louis. They got the Prada purses. They got the diamonds. Everybody wants to look like they got money, money, money. Drowning in debt. Drowning in debt. Credit cards stacked up to here. They ain't saving $20 to their name. Don't own a house. Don't have any stocks or investments. So they got very, very bare minimum. Not maxing out the 401k, but boy, they got that brand new BMW. Do you guys ever notice how the difficulty it is with trying to go qualify for a house, right? If you want to go out and you want to go out and buy BMW or Mercedes, I'm not picking on those brands, but I'm using them because they're the luxury brands people want to buy at home. If you want to go out and buy a luxury car, you ever notice how you can have a 580 credit score, you can make $35,000 a year, and all you got to have is a couple pay stubs. They make it very, very easy to go out and get a car. No, the barrier to get a nice expensive car is extremely low. Anybody can get them. They handling out damn luxury cars. So you see people on the road, you don't know what the situation. They must have money. They got a nice car. They got expensive clothes. Got credit cards for that. People wearing t-shirts, jogging pants. They get out of a 2010 Honda Civic or something. I don't know, making up some F-150, 250,000 miles on it because they're running back and forth doing transportation services for the company, sitting at $1.5 million. The millionaire next door basically says that most people who have $1 million in assets and net worth, the next door, higher in suburban neighborhoods, and they're not driving expensive cars. So looking rich will get you staying poor, especially in America. But looking poor will get you an opportunity to be rich. And that is a huge, huge difference. Uh, I don't know why the poorest people go out and want to buy the most expensive things, but these are all reasons why, if you guys are struggling to kind of build that wealth and development, you have to really start taking some internal looks in yourself. Do you need the $60,000 car or $40,000 car? Do you need the $900 car? It's insane. Of course you don't. Of course you don't need that. You could easily go out and buy a 2015 Toyota or Honda or Hyundai or whatever. You don't need, but people got to have that latest and greatest. And it's going to keep you poor. It just is. So, this is a real, what I'd like to think is a real down to earth, but very game giving but foundational video that explains to you guys the psychology of developing wealth, what it truly, truly, truly takes. This is the video. If you've gotten to the end of this video, don't say you didn't get any game. Don't say that you didn't see anything that actually gave you the foundation. Now, there could be more advanced videos that we're going to talk about with stocks, with trading, with different types of investments, with IRAs, with the credit card game. We're going to talk about the different ETF types. We're going to talk about people who are trying to beat the markets, how you can do it. We're going to talk about real estate, the different types of real estate investments. We're going to talk about all sorts of things of building wealth. But I just think it's so important that people understand the foundation, because nobody's giving that game. Everybody's showing you the flash and the grid and all this stuff, but nobody's giving it to you. So it's given to you. I hope you truly found this video valuable. I can't tell you guys, I thought about making this video for a while, and I just wanted to make sure I got enough off and communicated it to you in a way that was going to make sense to kind of get home. So I hope it did. I hope it provided value. I hope it gave you some insight, and I hope it really kind of helped motivated you to make some changes if you haven't already started doing that, to kind of put yourself and your family on a path to to financial freedom. And that's pretty much it. So if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe it, leave a comment. I love comments. I think I like comments more than anything, to be honest, even if you don't like it, because the comments show like, okay, man, this is some good game here. And and hopefully there's some things that you guys take out of this. Subscribe. And also, what I really need from you as well is to let me know what additional things you would like talked about. As you guys can see here, my original content on my channel is about stock trading, specifically day trading, swing trading, things like that. And so while that's important, and while that's a big passion of mine, and while I still do it, it's not something that you can talk about on a daily basis. So I want to be able to really talk about more of the financial education game, and then branch that into the whole investment game as a whole, and then we can get more into the details of the day trading, swing trading, all that stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the love and support, and I will talk to you later. Take care.